Kajang handpicked as the seat to be vacated?
Were there other seats?
No, this is suggested, but I actually left it to the the state, the colleagues to discuss this. But I say that preferably it should be at least a composition representing the state. It should not, the Malays should be at least 50%. Then you have 40-10. I mean, I don't want to have predominantly non-Muslims say then I'll be attacked and saying that no confidence to garner the support of the Malays. So if it is like it reflects the demography of the state, then it's all right.
Because you always say the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, what made you decide that okay, I'll come in? Because you said you had to be persuaded before. You're not so convinced. Now you decided to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough call. I should say that.
Was there a specific incident that happened?
Was it because of Asmin and his supporters making the move, calling for Khalid to step down?
No. Yeah. I would say this. That has been very much in my mind. That even when talking about the national consensus, because you must speak from the position of strength. And UMNO seems to think that we are, probably dissipating our resources and weakening our resolve. No, I said no. We have to probably change the strategy to say, look, we are very much in the race. We are very committed to the reform agenda, and we want to make sure, at least now. So I've been contemplating this, but that in terms of timing, I don't know. It's the time when I did persuade Khalid when he said yes, then I moved. Probably because usually these people don't probably appreciate as much, because Azmin has been with me for decades. Khalid has been a close family friend. I mean, somewhat similar time. And I mean, it's just not saying, no, you should be, can you accept it? I mean, it's not as simple, and I cannot have continued this on a protracted basis. I have just to decide. And it's a very difficult decision, not very popular in this instance. Malaysia Kini is partly responsible, but I think the decision has to be made for this wider, for the larger interest, and I think at least for a start we have caught the BN off guard. Nobody anticipated, and I got from my sources, they say it's going to be tough now, having not Kajang by elections, in dealing with the state and dealing with the new, I should say, equation.
Right. Do you think that UMNO is going to run a candidate instead of MCA?
I don't believe they are serious, because firstly it's an MCA seat. If UMNO takes over the seat, then MCA is gone for good. I don't think it would happen. But interesting enough, because it's Datuk Najib who said they will not. It's not necessary to contest in the elections. It's the only time I find in the history of UMNO or BN that they have considered in the past in Penanti, where the Prime Minister and UMNO and the BN chairman says no contest, and the MCA can overrule him.
So you're not worried about Lee Chong Wei either?
No. If Lee Chong Wei actually decides to stand, then I would surrender. In badminton, I continue the race. No,
You yourself mentioned.
But it's interesting what Khairi said.
Yeah, hands off.
I mean, he's instructing.
Yeah.
I mean, we should say I will persuade him not to contest. He said no, he has no right to contest. I mean, how do you treat a national badminton player like that?
So in a sense, you want him to contest.
No. Of course, I don't believe it. I mean, I'm a fan. You see, I follow badminton. Badminton has been my game all along for a long time. What I mean saying that how can there's a thing that he owns this guy. I direct you not to contest. I mean, this.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he says.
He said more like, don't touch Lee Chong Wei, hands off, he's a national treasure.
Yeah, but he said he cannot. I mean, yeah, you don't. I mean, you should say that. I would certainly, persuade. I mean, you don't own these guys. But it's this display of arrogance. Of everything's under your control. Anyway.
Then you yourself said that the Kajang decision was not a popular decision. Again, you've also ruled out the possibility of protest votes. So do you think you can maintain the 7,000 majority, or do better, or do you think it's going to?
No, I don't know. I've had some experience in the Konati election. I never take things for granted. That's why I met the missionary today. I'm meeting Tansi Khalid this afternoon. I'm going there to Kajang tonight. I don't take things for granted. I will visit every single mosque and surau and temple and every single program that I can, and every market in Kajang. I mean, that has been my experience, what I learned in politics. Never take things for granted and never assume everything is right. I mean, in all humility, I have to submit that.
What I don't understand is that where do you find the stamina to do all this? I mean, it's been like this for the past, 10 years?
Thank you.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. I see, I've said to you before, and Mandela said to me, people say that we are mad. Particularly when you look at the children, when we saw the children, and saw his tears, and that was very touching moment. I regretted very much that we didn't video that part.
Right.
Yeah. Then he said, no, I mean, we must be mad. I mean, because to be genuine.
That you had.
Yeah. After I was released. I said, but we were crazy. I said, crazy. We all laugh. I said, yeah. We must be crazy. You must be crazy, actually. No, but there's this. It has to work. This has to work. Because I think the nation as a country were declining, not only in the economy clearly, but I think even in terms of the fabric of this multiracial society country, and I think we have to do it.
Talking about that, this national reconciliation, and I think there's always this talk about, and definitely there is already some movement in terms of Saifuddin and Zahid are really sort of talking on the side. What is the aim of this, and what would be the end point? I mean, people are talking about perhaps even unity government. What is your aim point?
Yeah, if you look at the statement, I've crafted very carefully in August and also last week. I put the parameters there very clearly. Constitutional guarantees, giving this confidence, to the Rakyat, that this country will move based on these guarantees. The issue is race, religion, economy, crime, issue of endemic corruption. Nothing beyond that.
Right.
Yes, I mean, there has been a meeting between Saifuddin and Zahid, but only to express this, to make clear that these things need to be because he asked whether we are just serious or just a political gimmick. I said no, we are serious. And I tabled this at the Pakatan Rakyat meeting, and had even at length private conversations with Kit and Guan Eng, and also Hadi Matsabu on these other than keadilan leaders, just to say that and repeat that, knowing that they would just dismiss the first round, and there will be faction dead against that, and of course then you have Mahathir Daim now waging war against this. I mean, how do you wage war just against an initiative to have a dialogue on national issues?
So the end point is really not the unity government.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to the state and launch this new wave of battle, greater zeal.
At one point, we had this talks with BN, or attempts to talk with BN to come up with this consensus on unity, what you call
Same
it.
issues,
I mean, what stage are we at? The first round was dismissed, and then you got.
No, you mean dengan Yusuf Kala tu?
Bukan. I mean, yang kita cakap ni sekarang, this reconciliation talks ni. What stage are we at?
No, the only we have seen Zahid has responded, And now Datuk Sri Najib has responded. That's it.
Yeah.
We are just waiting.
Okay.
Yeah. Waiting, and we see they respond, yes, we continue to talk, and they hammer me every night, 25 minutes on national television. It's very interesting, these guys, you
It
know.
doesn't sound very hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, it shows contradictions, if not hypocrisy.
Do you think that Najib is serious about it? I mean, perhaps he's just basically using it just to as a means to stop the attack from the extremists within the party. He's basically telling them that if you keep attacking me, I'll go to Manor.
Yeah, there's also this theory, that the fact that this has somewhat been used by him. I don't know. I take it that because this is not new. We initiated this in a very strong statement in August last year, and continued so. But for the first time, there's been somewhat a positive response.
That's right. He did say that.
Yeah,
he considered.
but there is nothing beyond that. Yeah? Meanwhile, we are not going to stop. Maybe continue our work too. Not the personal vicious mudslinging, but in terms of using, now having Selangor as a base with as a new impetus to demand for change.
I need to ask a rather cynical question, if you don't mind.
No, it's okay.
So, some people say that you and the party want to go into Selangor because of the 3 billion reserves, that it might fuel the party machinery.
Yeah, sister, but it's grossly unfair. How can at this stage of my political career I go and compromise on the issue of good governance? I mean, it's sheer insanity if I do that. Even if I consider the least, I may have differences with Khalid, but I support him fully. Remember, publicly in a party convention, that I support him even on the position of GLCs. And then I lost some probably support base. I don't compromise. So on that score, I'm not going to change. Now, but I discussed it. In fact, publicly I may be mentioning, if there are potholes and then you don't use this road maintenance, you can't defend that. I heard, from a report, some UNICEF students, for example, Malays and a few Indians who had problems. And I said, look, I can't defend that. I told Khalid, immediately resolve that. You see? I mean, things like that. Reserves is important. I talk about reserve for the first time, when I was finance minister. But not big reserves. It's a small reserve. Because when you have abject poverty, when you have housing problem for the poor, when you have, hardship in accountability, it's very difficult to talk about big reserves. Right. But Khalid is an economic manager. It's important. He has done it well. But mental of a good governance is not necessarily deserved. It is good management of the economy. So I would take it that stage. But if we are going to spend money, for example, the reserves on public housing or on free education to UNICEF students, I don't think it is wasting public funds.
So that might come, free education for UNICEF.
No, of course, I would. I have strong views on that. I have very strong views on that. And people may be cynical, as you say. I'm a politician, but I don't. It disturbs me. And when I received a report, is about 6 months ago, or before the elections, about students having problem. I called an emergency session. Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Dean, and Tan Sri Khalid, and confronted the university authorities. Of course, I didn't issue a statement on that. But these are political. People are actually having difficulty. But they wouldn't. It's not have your 100 million. It's just a small example. But
difficulty of getting in, or
no of living conditions. That they living on Maggie and.
Right.
But I can say it because the economy is managed well, so we have the funds. So that's why this criticism. I differ with some party leaders who just attack Khalid on it. I said no, because you don't manage your economy well, you don't have the result. You can't be talking about disbursing funds for that purpose.
You mentioned reassuring Muslims in the state. What exactly is your stand on the suggestion to amend the state enactment?
You see, Anila, why do I start with assurance? Reassuring the Muslims, because this is the perception that they are under threat, you see, threatened by the Christian missionaries, etc. So, and although I know it is not right, but we have to deal with this. You cannot reassure them. You can move to the next stage. Okay? So I think, I mean, just like how I did with the Malay language before, or the English, you see. When I was Minister of Education, I think compared to all previous ministers, I was strongest in terms of promoting the use of English. But I did it only after this massive campaign of enhancing the level of proficiency with the Malay language. I got whacked for that by the liberals like Stephen, you see. But I think I consider that part of a strategy, and but meaningful. I mean, if they say no, we want more resources for the state, for Islamic institutions to go for the dawah, to publish new literature, to get, then I think yes, why not? Not literature like for buah, like the the Mufti of Perak, but I mean, but if it's good literature, I tell you, it is helpful, because the conditions imposed are tough before you even consider the word buah. But now, having said that, then we have to deal with the situation of the, giving this assurance or guarantees to the Christians and Hindus and the Buddhists in the country. Now, whether you want to deal with specific legislation, I think it would come to that at a later stage. I think, to my mind, the problem is not just the legislation, which is of course flawed because of the annexure. They say what was done in 1988, I think, and I was then Minister of Education, I think, at that time. Yeah? But I am quite sure, Steve, that the annexure was never seen. It is the enactment without the annexure, because the annexure includes even the name masjid. Now, if you live in Jalan Masjid, so if you discuss this rationally with Muslims. I mean, I was in Matampau. I mean, I was with the Tuan Guru Haji Muttalib there. I was telling him the next year, why are people wanting to change? I said, Tuan Guru, if you have a Chinese non-Muslim living in Jalan Masjid, technically he cannot use Jalan Masjid. He said, he can. I said, no, I'm talking about the law. Then he got shocked. He said, then his immediate spontaneous reaction, then you have to correct the law. Not knowing the implications. So I think, given time, you have to explain. So people say, no, you change the law. I mean, I've been in dispute with some friends on this. But I said, no, I think what we need is to explain. Don't underestimate or to overestimate your influence or your power without engaging with the people. And to me, it's just not the law. You can always differ. It's how you implement, like the issue of the confiscation of the Bible. I would say, okay, can you guarantee, don't distribute to the Muslims, don't send it to schools, have it to the Christian, you guarantee, I want you to begin variety, then send back. I mean, that's purely administrative. And of course, Selangor has to bear the brunt, and Datuk Najib say, leave it to Selangor.
So it's that really this Allah issue is actually become a dilemma for Najib, and it's also a dilemma for you, in the sense that you do recognize that the Malay ground is quite quite emotional over this. So your plan is basically to convince them first before you move forward. Is that right?
No, not the Allah issue, because the Allah issue, to my mind, our position, my personal position of Kadila Pakatara is very clear. We cannot bar or disallow, and based on compelling evidence adduced by great scholars, and I'm not one of them. And I have personally referred to even Sheikh Yusuf Khardawi, was given a very clear answer to this. So that position stands. How to resolve and do it, this is what is being rather contentious for now. So I don't believe that we should defer this. I mean, you can say defer action on certain things by reassuring the Muslim crowd, but in the process you cannot be unjust to the rest. So I think you must accept that. So that which means pending this change or to addressing the Muslim crowd should not be any move at the expense of the non-Muslims.